There's no Levain bakery in Atlanta, so we're going to be making their coffee toffee cookies at home. So because we want bakery style cookies, we're going to be using very cold butter. So I'm just going to be chopping it up. And then I have some brown sugar and some granulated sugar. With our paddle attachment, we'll now add it to the bowl. And then we'll start mixing together. So something to note is that we won't be fully creaming it, and we do want to see some visible butter pieces as well, because that'll help have that bakery style cookie with all those layers. I then have 2 eggs fresh from the fridge, and then a splash of vanilla. And so now we'll mix this until the eggs are combined. Working on our dry ingredients, I have some cake flour, all-purpose flour, baking soda, cornstarch, salt. So for a really deep chocolate flavor, I have some black cocoa powder. Before adding the dry ingredients, I have some instant espresso that we're going to add, and this will dissolve with the wet ingredients. And so now we'll go ahead and add our dry ingredients to the bowl. We can see there's still some pockets of dough that need to be mixed in, but before we finish, we're going to chop up the Heath bar and the chocolate. First, going to start by chopping up the Heath bar. And then I have some milk chocolate, so we'll do the same. Just for added crunch, I'm going to be adding in some Heath toffee bits too. So now we'll get this added to the dough. All right, so we're done mixing. So now this dough will chill in the fridge for a little bit. So our dough has been chilling in the fridge for a little bit. So now we'll actually be weighing it out. Levain cookies are really big and they're 6 ounces, so that's what we'll be weighing. So we got our dough here. So I won't be baking them all. I'll probably bake about 3 or 4, and then I'll put the rest in the freezer. We were able to get 8 6-ounce balls, so that's great. I'm going to be putting half in the freezer to bake at a later time, and then today we'll be baking out 4 of them. I have the oven set to 415, so we'll put these in the oven now. While the cookie's in the oven, we're going to chop up some chocolate and Heath bar to put on top once they're fresh out of the oven. I'm not looking for anything too complicated, just some squares like this would be great. All right, so these are very fresh out of the oven, so we're going to let them cool for a little bit. All right, so these have been cooling, so now for the best part, I get to eat it. You get pieces of the Heath toffee throughout the cookie. You can see it even melted a little bit on the very bottom. I'm really happy I added those bits too. While you might have to go out of your way to get the black cocoa, it's definitely worth it for these cookies. This flavor combination alone is definitely worth flying to New York for to get these cookies. But in the meantime, I'm really happy to at least be able to make them here at my house. As always, I'll be sure to include the ingredients in my caption and the full recipe in my Substack soon.